Maya did not go into the forest to find a mystery. She went because the air in town felt heavy lately, like every conversation ended with a sigh. Bills, work, noise, people rushing. She wanted one quiet morning where the only sound was her own steps and birds arguing in the trees. The forest behind the old hills was not famous. There were no signs, no benches, no guided paths. Just a narrow dirt trail used by hikers who did not care about photos. Maya liked it for that reason. The forest did not try to impress anyone. It simply existed. She carried a small backpack, a bottle of water, and a phone with weak signal. Her plan was simple: walk until her mind stopped spinning, then walk back. At first, everything was normal. Dry leaves under her shoes. Thin sunlight filtering through branches. A few broken twigs, maybe from deer. She breathed slower. Her shoulders relaxed. Then she smelled something sweet. It was faint, like warm sugar mixed with flowers. It did not make sense this deep into the woods. Maya stopped and looked around. The trail was quiet. No picnic spot, no campfire. The smell drifted again, clearer this time. Honey. Maya felt a small pull in her chest, like curiosity tapping her shoulder. She stepped off the trail, moving carefully between trees. She told herself she would only look for a minute. The smell grew stronger. The forest changed in a way she could not explain. The air felt warmer. The birds became quiet, as if something else was holding the space. She pushed aside a hanging vine and froze. In a small clearing, tucked between tall pines, stood several wooden boxes arranged in rows. They were weathered and gray, like they had been left there for years. Some boxes leaned slightly. Others sat flat, covered in moss. A few had cracked corners. The clearing looked forgotten by time. Apiary. Maya knew the word because her grandfather used to keep bees when she was a child. She remembered his hands smelling like smoke and sweetness. She remembered the soft buzzing that sounded like a living engine. But this place was different. Her grandfather's hives were neat and painted. These were rough and abandoned, like someone started a project and then disappeared. Maya's heart beat faster. She took another step, then stopped again. Because there was buzzing. Not loud, not wild, but present. A low hum coming from inside at least two of the boxes. That made no sense. If the hives had been abandoned, the bees should have left. Or the hives should have been dead. Yet the air here was alive with a gentle vibration. Maya stayed still and listened. She could hear it clearly now, the busy sound of a working colony. She looked closer. Some of the hives had small openings near the bottom. Tiny bees moved in and out, like they had been doing it for a long time. They did not look aggressive. They looked focused. Maya swallowed. She should leave. She did not have protective gear. She did not know why the hives were here. A smart person would step back and return to the trail. But Maya was not thinking like a smart person in that moment. She was thinking like someone who had just found a secret that did not want to be found. Her eyes moved across the hives, counting them. 6, maybe 7. 2 looked active. The others looked silent. She noticed something else. A small wooden sign, half buried under leaves, leaned against a stump. Maya walked slowly toward it, careful not to step too close to the hive entrances. The sign had faded writing carved into it. She brushed away dirt with her fingers. The words were uneven, like someone carved them in a hurry. Do not open the last hive. Maya stared at the sentence. A cold line ran down her back. The last hive. She turned her head and looked at the row of boxes. The hives were arranged from left to right, like a simple line. If the sign meant anything, it likely meant the hive on the far right. Maya's eyes fixed on the far right box. It was darker than the others, as if it had been stained or burned long ago. The wood looked thicker, reinforced. The lid had 2 rusty metal latches instead of 1. Around its base, the ground was oddly clear, like no plants wanted to grow there. And there was no buzzing. Not even a little. Maya's mouth went dry. Her first thought was childish. Maybe it holds something dangerous. Her second thought was worse. Maybe it holds something valuable. She took a step back, as if the hive could hear her thoughts. She told herself again that she should leave. Then she saw a path. It was not a hiking trail. It was a thin, pressed line through grass at the edge of the clearing, like someone walked there regularly. It led deeper into the woods. So someone had been here. Recently. Maya's curiosity grew sharp. Her mind started stacking questions fast. Who built this apiary? Why abandon it? Why keep a warning sign? And why would someone still visit if it was abandoned? She felt the buzzing from the active hives, steady and calm, like they were telling her the place was working as intended. But the silent hive felt like a closed mouth holding a secret. Maya backed away from the last hive and focused on the active ones instead. She could observe without touching anything. She moved closer to the first active hive. Bees traveled in straight lines. Some returned with pollen on their legs, yellow and bright. Others left quickly, like they had a schedule. Maya smiled slightly despite her nerves. It was peaceful. Bees were not cruel. They were builders. Workers. Protectors. Her grandfather once said, "When bees are calm, it means the world is calm. When bees are angry, check yourself first." Maya wondered what her grandfather would say about a warning sign in the woods. She stepped toward another hive, the second active one. This one had a crack along the side. Bees still used it. Maya could see a bit of wax inside through the crack, pale gold. She stayed a safe distance. Then she noticed something stuck under the hive lid, like someone placed it there intentionally. A piece of cloth. It was folded and partly tucked in, as if meant to be hidden. Maya's chest tightened. The cloth was not old like the hives. It looked newer. Dark blue, like work clothing. Someone had been here and left it. Maya stood still for a long moment. Her mind argued with itself. If she touched it, she could disturb the hive. But if she did not touch it, she might never understand what was happening. She looked around the clearing. No footsteps, no voices. Only the soft hum of bees and the distant sound of wind. She decided to be careful. Maya took a small stick from the ground. Slowly, gently, she lifted the cloth using the stick, avoiding direct contact with the hive. The cloth slid out easily, as if it was meant to be pulled. Under it, wedged into a thin gap, was a small metal box. Maya's breath caught. A metal box did not belong in a beehive. It was the size of her palm, with a tight lid. It looked like a simple storage container, the kind used to keep matches dry. But why hide it here? Maya's hand trembled. She wanted to grab it, but she hesitated again. The bees were calm, but this was still their home. She used the stick carefully, sliding the metal box out onto the grass. A few bees crawled near the spot, then returned inside. No attack. No panic. Maya crouched on the edge of the clearing, holding her breath, staring at the box like it might jump. She opened it slowly. Inside was a small plastic bag, sealed tight. And inside the bag was paper. Not one page. Many pages, folded tightly. Maya unfolded them with shaking fingers. At first, she thought they were letters. But the writing was not friendly. It looked like records. Notes. Dates. Names. Numbers. One page had a heading written in bold, messy handwriting. Hive logs and collection. Another page had lists. Week 1, 3 jars. Week 2, 4 jars. Week 3, 2 jars. Then, more lines under it, but not about honey. Visited site. Confirmed no watchers. Moved storage. Do not trust the man in green truck. Keep last hive sealed. Maya's throat tightened. This was not a beekeeper's journal. This was something else pretending to be one. She flipped another page. There were short sentences. Quick notes. Like someone writing in fear. They came near the creek again. Marked trees. I removed marks. If I disappear, the hives will tell the truth. Maya stared at that line until her eyes hurt. If I disappear, the hives will tell the truth. She looked up at the hives, the quiet boxes, the buzzing life. A strange feeling rose in her, half wonder and half dread. The forest suddenly felt less peaceful and more watchful. Like it was holding a story it did not want to speak aloud. Maya gathered the pages back into the bag, hands cold now. She placed everything back into the metal box, but she did not seal it yet. Her mind moved fast. This was evidence of something. But of what? She looked toward the warning sign again. Do not open the last hive. And the note said, keep last hive sealed. So the last hive was not just a hive. It was a container. A hiding place. Maya's stomach twisted. The title in her head changed, like her brain was trying to label the situation. This was not abandoned at all. This was hidden. And whatever was inside the last hive was something someone wanted protected or something someone wanted never discovered. Maya stood slowly, feeling the ground unsteady under her shoes. She turned her head to scan the trees again. She saw nothing. But she could not shake the feeling that she was no longer alone in the clearing, even if no one was visible. She glanced back at the active hive, then at the pressed path in the grass. Her instincts whispered one clear message. Leave now. But another part of her, louder, held on to the words on the page. If I disappear, the hives will tell the truth. Maya swallowed hard. She tucked the metal box carefully into her backpack. She told herself she would take it to someone responsible. Maybe the police. Maybe a ranger. She took one step toward the trail. Then she heard it. A soft snap. Not a branch under her foot. Not an animal. It came from behind her, deeper in the trees. Maya froze, her whole body turning rigid. The bees continued buzzing calmly, as if nothing had happened. But Maya's heart began to pound. Because the sound came again, closer. Footsteps. Slow, measured, careful. Someone was approaching the clearing. Maya's eyes darted to the trail and then to the hives. She did not know which direction was safer. She did not know if she should run or hide or stay still and pretend she was only hiking. She clutched her backpack strap, feeling the metal box inside. Her mouth went dry. The footsteps stopped at the edge of the trees. A shadow shifted between the trunks. Maya took a shallow breath and whispered to herself without realizing it. Please be a ranger. But the forest did not answer. And the last hive, silent and sealed, stood there like a locked door. Maya stayed still, her body tight like a drawn string. The footsteps did not rush. They paused, as if the person was listening. Leaves shifted slightly. A shadow moved again between the trees. Then a man stepped into the clearing. He was tall, wearing a dark jacket and worn boots. His hair was gray at the edges, his face lined like someone who spent many years outdoors. He did not look surprised to see the hives. He looked relieved. His eyes moved to Maya. They did not widen. They did not narrow. They studied her, calm and sharp. You should not be here, he said quietly. Maya felt her throat close. She forced herself to breathe. I was hiking, she said. Her voice sounded smaller than she wanted. I smelled honey. The man glanced at the active hives, then at her backpack. You found the boxes, he said. It was not a question. Maya's fingers tightened around the strap. Her mind raced. Lying would be useless. He already knew. I did not open anything I should not, she said. That was not fully true, but it was close enough to feel honest. The man took a step closer, stopping a few feet away. He did not cross into the hive space. That told Maya something. He respected the bees. That forest trail is not marked for a reason, he said. People get lost. Maya nodded slowly. These hives are not lost. The man's mouth tightened. For the first time, something like emotion crossed his face. No, he said. They are hidden. Silence settled between them. The bees hummed steadily, unaware of the tension. Maya realized how strange it was that the calmest things in the clearing were the hives. You took something, the man said. Maya did not answer right away. She remembered the note. If I disappear, the hives will tell the truth. What is inside the last hive? She asked instead. The man looked at the sealed box on the far right. His jaw clenched. Something that should never be sold, he said. Sold. Maya repeated. He exhaled slowly. People think honey is just food. Some honey is medicine. Some is history. Some is proof. Maya's skin prickled. Proof of what? The man did not answer. He looked toward the trees, scanning the forest as if expecting someone else to appear. You should leave, he said again, but his voice was different now. Less firm. Almost tired. Maya shook her head. Someone wrote those notes. Someone hid records in a hive. Someone warned others not to open the last one. That someone might be gone. The man looked at her sharply. You read them? Yes, she said. And they sound like a person who was scared. The man was silent for a long moment. Then he surprised her. My name is Thomas, he said. Maya hesitated, then answered. Maya. Thomas nodded once. I did not expect anyone to come here again. Not like this. Again? Maya asked. Thomas walked slowly toward a fallen log and sat down, resting his hands on his knees. He looked older when he sat, like the forest had been holding him upright until now. These hives were built by a woman named Lena, he said. She was not just a beekeeper. She studied rare forest bees. Bees that only thrive in certain conditions. Bees that produce honey with unusual properties. Maya listened closely. Her grandfather's words echoed in her mind. Bees tell the truth. People wanted her work, Thomas continued. At first, it was researchers. Then it was companies. Then it was men who did not care about rules. What kind of properties? Maya asked. Thomas looked at her carefully. The kind that can heal things we do not fully understand. The kind that can also be misused. Maya thought of the notes. Dates. Collections. Warnings. She refused to sell, Thomas said. So she hid what mattered. The bees were her shield. Who would search a hive deeply? Maya swallowed. And the last hive? Thomas closed his eyes briefly. That hive holds samples and records. Real records. Proof of what the honey can do and who tried to take it. Why not destroy it? Maya asked. Because truth should not be destroyed, Thomas said. Only protected. Maya felt a chill despite the warm air. What happened to Lena? Thomas's shoulders sagged. She vanished. The word landed heavy between them. Vanished how? Maya asked softly. Left her home. Left no message. Her car was found near the creek. People said she ran away. People often say that when answers are uncomfortable. Maya clenched her hands. And you? I was her friend, Thomas said. I helped maintain the hives. I watched the forest. I made sure no one opened the last one. Maya's heart pounded. But someone was marking trees. Thomas's head snapped up. You saw marks? Yes, Maya said. In the notes. And near the creek. Thomas stood abruptly. Then they are close again. Fear crawled up Maya's spine. Who are they? Thomas looked toward the trees once more. Men who think ownership is the same as right. The forest seemed to lean inward. Maya suddenly understood the warning sign better. It was not just about the hive. It was about timing. She reached into her backpack slowly. Thomas stiffened. I took something, she said, because I thought it was evidence. She pulled out the metal box and held it out. Thomas stared at it, then let out a breath he had been holding. You should not have carried that openly, he said. I did not know, Maya replied. Thomas took the box carefully. This means they may follow you. Maya's stomach dropped. Follow me. They watch trails, Thomas said. They notice strangers. Maya's legs felt weak. Then we should leave. Now. Thomas nodded. Yes. But not together. Maya looked at him, shocked. What? If we leave together, it confirms this place matters, Thomas said. If you leave alone, you look like a lost hiker. And you? Maya asked. I stay, Thomas said. I always do. Maya's chest tightened. That is dangerous. So is truth, Thomas replied. He opened the metal box and took out one folded page. He handed it to Maya. Take this, he said. If anything happens to me, this tells you what to do. Maya hesitated. I do not want this responsibility. Thomas met her eyes. You already have it. She took the page. It was short. A list of names and a location written in careful handwriting. What is this? She asked. People Lena trusted, Thomas said. And where the proof must go. Maya folded the page and tucked it into her pocket. A distant sound echoed through the forest. A low engine hum. Thomas's face hardened. They are closer than I thought. Maya's pulse raced. We need to hide the hive. Thomas shook his head. It is already hidden. What we need is time. He walked to the last hive and rested his hand on the lid, gentle and steady. These bees know their job, he said. They protect the truth. Maya felt tears sting her eyes, though she did not fully understand why. Maybe it was the weight of being trusted. Maybe it was the sense that this moment mattered more than her quiet hike ever did. Go, Thomas said firmly. Maya took a step back. Then another. Every part of her resisted leaving him alone in that clearing. What if they find you? She asked. Thomas gave a small smile. Then the hives will still speak. Maya turned and moved quickly toward the trail, keeping her steps light. She did not run. Running would draw attention. Her heart hammered anyway. As she reached the edge of the clearing, she looked back once. Thomas stood among the hives, calm and unmoving. The bees buzzed steadily around him, like a living wall. Maya entered the trees and followed the path she came from. The forest felt different now. Louder. More alert. She heard voices behind her. Low. Urgent. She kept walking, counting her steps, forcing herself not to look back. When she reached the main trail, she let out a shaky breath. She walked like a normal hiker. Slow. Curious. Unafraid. But inside her chest, a storm was building. She knew one thing clearly now. The abandoned apiary was not abandoned at all. It was waiting. Maya did not stop walking until the forest thinned and the trail opened near the old hills. Only then did she allow herself to breathe fully. Her hands shook as she drank water. The sounds of the woods felt sharper now, every bird call too loud, every rustle suspicious. She kept her pace steady, like Thomas told her. A lost hiker does not rush. A lost hiker does not look afraid. When she reached the edge of town, the normal world felt unreal. Cars passed. A dog barked. Someone laughed on a porch. None of them knew what lived quietly in the forest, guarded by bees and one tired man. Maya went straight home. She locked the door behind her and leaned against it, heart pounding. Her backpack slid from her shoulder to the floor. She stared at it for a long time before opening it again. Inside was the folded page Thomas gave her. Names. Places. A location marked with a simple note. Deliver through the university archive. Use the old lab. Maya sat at her small table and spread the paper flat. The handwriting was careful and steady. Lena's handwriting, she guessed. Someone who planned ahead. Someone who believed truth needed patience. Maya understood something then. This was never meant for one person. It was meant for the right person. She slept badly that night. Dreams of buzzing wings and dark boxes woke her again and again. Each time, she saw Thomas standing beside the last hive, calm as a stone, while shadows circled the trees. In the morning, she made a decision. She contacted a local university, one known for environmental research. She did not explain everything at first. She asked the right questions instead. Who studied forest ecosystems? Who worked with rare pollinators? Who had access to secure archives? By afternoon, she had a name. Professor Hale. A careful man. Known for patience and quiet work. Someone Lena might have trusted. Maya wrote a short message. I have material connected to a missing researcher and protected bee colonies. I believe it belongs in an academic archive. I need discretion. The reply came faster than she expected. Bring what you have. Use the old lab entrance. Maya packed lightly. She carried only what mattered. The folded page. The memory of the metal box. the weight of Thomas's trust. At dusk, she returned to the forest. She did not go to the clearing. She followed the creek instead, like the notes warned. She stayed low, moving carefully. The forest felt tense, as if holding its breath. She reached a place where the water bent sharply around stones. There, hidden under roots, she found what Lena had marked. A sealed container. Heavy. Wrapped tight. Maya did not open it. She carried it out the way Lena intended. The university lab was quiet and dim. Professor Hale met her alone. He listened without interrupting. When she showed him the names, the dates, the records, his face changed. "This explains gaps," he said softly. "This explains pressure." He secured the materials without questions that night. 2 days later, news spread quietly through the right circles. An investigation reopened. Research permits questioned. Funding trails traced. Companies named. No headlines shouted it yet. But the ground shifted. Maya returned to the forest at dawn on the 3rd day. She did not know what she would find. The clearing was silent. The hives stood as they always had. The bees buzzed, calm and steady. Thomas was not there. Maya's chest tightened. She searched the ground. No signs of struggle. No broken branches. Just one thing resting near the last hive. A folded note. Maya picked it up slowly. Truth moved. Bees safe. Do not return. Tears blurred her vision. She pressed the note to her chest. Thomas had chosen to disappear the way Lena did. Not lost. Hidden. Protected by the forest he trusted. She looked at the last hive. For the first time, she understood why it must remain sealed. Not because it held danger, but because it held proof that had already done its work. The bees continued their steady song. Weeks passed. The forest remained quiet. Maya's life changed, though not loudly. She left her old job. She began working with conservation groups. She spoke carefully, choosing truth over attention. The investigation concluded quietly too. Papers were published. Protections strengthened. Rare bee habitats marked and guarded. Lena's work was restored to its rightful place. One morning, Maya received a small package with no return address. Inside was a jar of honey. Golden. Warm. Alive with light. A note was attached. "They still know your footsteps." Maya smiled through tears. She went back to the forest one last time that season. She stood at the edge of the clearing and did not step inside. She did not need to. The bees buzzed. The truth had spoken. And everything had changed.